Welcome back. Today we're bringing you talks from some very passionate educators. First, it's Betsy Moore. Keith, tell us about Betsy.
Well, Betsy's was definitely was the most poignant of all the presentations. We have been working with Betsy for 2 or 3 months leading up to this event. Less than a month before the event, her 18-year-old son died of an accidental fentanyl overdose.
Oh, wow.
And of course, we assumed that she wouldn't want to continue to do this, but she actually said, I want to do it as long as I can talk about his story, because I want people to know about the dangers that are out there and what you should be looking for. And so, yeah, it was, you could have heard a pin drop. And I don't know how she did it as a father, how she was able to stand on that stage and do what she did, but she was pretty remarkable.
Well, a remarkable clip coming up. Let's look.
My parents shared their fears with me about me drinking and driving or getting in the car with someone else who was drinking and driving. I followed in their parenting footsteps, and I had conversations with my son Wilson about my fear of him drinking and driving. But I shared other fears that I had too. If I saw a news clip about teens taking pills, we talked. If I read an article about teens speeding, we talked. If I heard about a teen losing their life to drugs, we talked. So let's think, what is fentanyl anyway? Well, fentanyl is a synthetic opioid. It is FDA approved, but what is so different about fentanyl than other opioids is it is 100 times more potent. It's more potent than heroin, than morphine, than Oxycontin. In 2023, the overdose rate for fentanyl topped 112,000 according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Right now, we have drug dealers who are substituting the ingredients in pills to make counterfeit pills to look just like prescription medicine. That's scary because it is identical to what you see. The USDEA says that nearly half of all counterfeit pills are laced with a lethal dose of fentanyl. So we ask ourselves, why would these drug dealers want to give their clients something that's going to kill them? It's all about the money. That's all they care about. Because you see, it only takes a small dosage of fentanyl to give the same high as other opioids. So fentanyl becomes the more lucrative drug to sell. These drug dealers are thinking about building that addiction so they can get that repeat clientele and those return customers to make that money. They're playing chemists, they're playing doctors, they're playing pharmacists. And it only takes 5 grains of fentanyl to be lethal. But the drug dealers don't care, because the bottom line to them, it's all about making money. And here is what happened to my son, Wilson. Like many of you parents in here, you probably have the same agreement with your children as teenagers. You know, wake me up when you get home so I know you're home okay. So, like any other ordinary evening, Wilson comes home at 12:30. He comes in my room and says, "Hey, Mom, I just want to let you know I'm home." He played with the dog there at the end of the bed, and we began to talk. He said, "Hey, you know, tomorrow I'm going to go over to Dad's. I got to help him grind up a stump." I began to tell him about my plans for the next day. He said, "Well, you know, I want to sleep in the morning, so I probably won't be able to see or talk to you until later on in the afternoon." And I said, "Okay." And he said, "Well, night, I love you." And I said, "I love you too." However, sometime in that night of Saturday, February 17th, 2024, my son died. Now, although this is an ongoing investigation and nothing has been confirmed, we suspect that Wilson ingested a drug such as fentanyl that took his life immediately. I think it goes without saying, he didn't know. He had no idea what he took that night was going to end his life. He had another friend who also lost his life two young men devastated a community. It caused us all to ask those questions. Why? How? If these two young men could lose their life in the same manner, who else is going to lose their life? Where would they get such a substance? And why would they take it? But before I share with you what I have learned and continuing to learn, I want to take the time to share with you about my son. Wilson was full of energy and full of joy. He could find the good in any situation and anyone. He loved being outdoors. He loved exploring. He loved figuring out things and how things worked. Wilson was a fierce friend. If you were his friend and had that honor, he would fight for you and stand up for you no matter what. Wilson never met a stranger. He knew people far and wide, across county lines and beyond. I am just one of a long line of survivors that has had to suffer through these tragic circumstances. But I want to tell you about some good things that are happening right here in our community and people who are trying to make a difference. We have 2 Out Rally out of Harnett County. This nonprofit is a family who also lost their son in a very similar way. Just last year, they passed out 40 cans of Narcan. They talked to the children and the teens about where you can find fentanyl, where it exists, and how to equip yourself and how to save lives. Barb Walsh, she is the founder of the nonprofit of Fentanyl Victims Network of North Carolina. She first founded this so people that were victims of this abuse and these deaths didn't feel alone, that they had a network to come to and to rally together. But she's taken it a step farther. Now she is looking at laws and ways that we can impact here in our community so this doesn't happen to anyone else. On February 19th, 2005, my life was changed forever for the better because I got the honor and the privilege to become Wilson Moore's mom. I chose to live my life for him then. I'm going to continue to live my life for him now. I choose to be part of the solution. Thank you.
I mean, wow. I mean, it's everywhere. Scary stuff. Very powerful message, Betsy. We appreciate it very much, and we're going to come right back. Stick around.